And welcome back. We're the Spoiler Kings and Brian the Grizzly here with Brandman Brandon. And we're going to talk about Batman Caped Crusader. We finally finished all the episodes. So I want to hear about what you think about this.
Overall, I liked it. I really liked the animation. I liked the setting was pretty cool. Kind of like the retro style setting. Kind of gave me throwback vibes to the original animated series from the '90s in that regard. But like I kind of mentioned in the past, it really Matt Reeves' involvement was really, really obvious in the sense that it was like a detective noir story. I really like that you get to see Batman doing more detective stuff. I liked how he was kind of like in Batman mode most of it because that reinforced the idea that Bruce Wayne as Batman is who he really is, and Bruce Wayne, the kind of playboy philanthropist, is just the alter ego.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I liked I liked the rebooting of some of the characters. It kind of reinforced that it's kind of like an Elseworlds universe. So I really liked that as well. I liked the music. I liked the from a technical standpoint. I just really really enjoyed it overall. The voice acting I thought was very very solid, especially with Hamish Linklater as Bruce Wayne and Batman. He really did it. Brought his own flavor to it. Liked Diedrich Bader as Harvey Dent. You know, he's basically a Batman alum too. If you count the Brave and the Bold, he voiced Batman on that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a lot that I enjoyed, and I liked that it was like more of a detective take on Batman rather than just the action. That was my favorite thing about it. You know, I'd watch another season or two.
Okay. Um, I definitely was enjoying the episodes as they were rolling around or rolling, but I definitely felt like there were some mistakes
Mhm.
made. But then I had to remember which Batman this is. I think that's a problem with when you do a show about Batman. That there's so many different stories, and you have to remember where Batman is at this point in time. So
Mhm.
he is just still trying to figure out who he is. He's still trying to figure out, how he can be Batman and be Bruce Wayne. He hasn't really embraced Alfred yet.
Mhm.
He's
Oh,
only
he was
been
a
out
dick
there
to Alfred at times.
but he really was. He hadn't decided, how he was going to, have his alter ego, how he's going to do those things yet. So he was still questioning a lot. So I thought
Mhm.
that was in itself pretty cool to see. Um, I thought it was really weird the way because you can see here in the voice, and you can see in the animation how he was very stand up, very straight, and it was almost like he was moving like this, like he was like it's just like he was, I don't know, like an animal. And I think if I spent more time enjoying these characters, that it will grow on me. But
Mhm.
it's definitely not the Batman that we're used to.
I agree. Very rough around the edges. You know, like I said, it reminded me of Matt Reeves' take on Batman on live action Batman, where he was really finding his footing, a little more brutal than what we associate with Batman. Like he just, at least even in his brutality and later iterations, he does kind of still have his limits. This dude was running people over, um, just treating Alfred like crap. So like I said, in that regard, I think the Matt Reeves influence was pretty prominent.
Yeah, I definitely like the noir part of it. Like, just felt the city, and even the desperation of what Gotham City really is. You felt the
Uh-huh.
desperation of it, and I thought that was a very good way of doing those things, especially in the 50s. You see him going against machine guns, him flipping around, and it was just one scene. It was Gordon looked at him and said, hey, if you're still here when they're there, I'm gonna have to take you in. And he just looked at him, and then he just went and it flew off. It was just so it's just Batman and hilarious. And I thought you saw him trying to figure out how you could be a human being and Batman at the same time.
Hmm.
How you're gonna be in touch with his emotional side along with still being Batman. And I think that was really the whole basis of the entire show. How do you mesh those things? How do you not lose your humanity at the same time? And that's why you
Hmm.
use Two Face, right? Because you can see how he was losing his humanity as once Harvey Dent had the acid thrown in his face, you saw him losing his humanity. He
Hmm.
didn't see himself as a human, so he didn't treat anyone like that. And so that was a very cool way to do it, go about it.
Hmm.
Were there any parts that you didn't like?
Some of the more supernatural episodes, I believe there were like one or two of them, kind of didn't quite fit in with the more grounded take of some of the other episodes. So I thought like there were a couple episodes that kind of felt out of place.
Mhm.
I also think that Batman's character mostly kind of stayed consistent and didn't really have too much of an arc, or not an arc, but maybe I need to watch it again. But I feel like he didn't progress like too much until the final episode, and even then, it kind of felt obligatory. You know, just like we got to wrap this up. We got to wrap this up. We have to have him complete his character arc when it kind of could have been set a little earlier on.
Well, you don't
But
think that what he did when Harvey Dent, his friend, went through his transformation, that he started to have emotions and became a little bit more less robotic and more emotional with his friend, not just to push him over, but more just to try to be supportive.
I do. But again, it was more towards the very end.
Okay.
You know, I think they could have kind of maybe
Highlighted.
even started Harvey Dent on that character arc like a couple episodes early. You know, they could have kind of spanned a couple episodes rather than just kind of rushing it at the end. You know, rather than like the ghost episode or like the what was the little girl's name who was basically like a succubus. They could have at least started Harvey on that path um, around the time of those episodes and kind of have it be something that we come back to over the course of the last couple episodes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I
Hmm.
definitely understand that.
But you know, something that you could do more with uh, in another season or two.
Agreed.
Mhm.
Said the show was solid. That's what Tony thinks. Said I like how we got to spend time with other characters and see their development through their eyes, and even the connection between Barbara, you know, and and her father. That was
Mhm.
seeing them together and understanding that combination and understanding Harley Quinn or Harlan Quinn, with Barbara and how they have a connection, and like it's just all the connections were or Harlan Quinzel. That's what her name was, right? And that was Jamie Chung, wasn't
Mhm.
that? That was Jamie Chung, right? I think that
Was it
was.
Jamie Chung?
I feel like it was. I really do think so. But I thought that was it was just
Mhm.
it was cool. I liked how they meshed all the characters. And at first, I don't know if I like changing characters in Batman. Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
Tony, that's yeah. Did the character changes bother you guys?
Not really. I wasn't bothered by them. Like with the Penguin, I thought that was a pretty cool take. To be completely honest, I didn't mind that at all. I even the take on Clayface was pretty interesting. Like I said, I was I was I was interested in the more kind of grounded take they went with it, and I thought it worked. You know, I thought. like I said, I look at it as an Elseworld story. There's so many iterations of different characters in Batman that I kind of find it pointless to get angry about them or bothered about updates. So no, I was fine with that.
Hmm.
Mhm,
I don't care if they change it or not, but I do. I'm just a firm believer that there are characters already, especially in the Batman universe, that you could use instead of changing the other villains into to females. You could have used more Poison Ivy. They're
mhm,
characters that yeah, you can use right. They're already there. You don't have to change them into a male character. Why don't you just bring them there? A movie that's focused on them instead of them almost being like a side character. Just give them the spotlight. So, and once again, I don't think that it's a problem, but I just would rather you do that. That's real
mhm,
representation. You know, real representation is when you're taking a character that's really that and spotlighting them and bringing them into the forefront. And there's enough
mhm,
characters because we have so many years of Batman that you can do that. And I don't think that they really did it well because they were already just changing things. So
mhm,
that's my take. And I think some people will say, "Oh, I just don't want to see it." It's like, no, it's not that I don't want to see it. I just don't want to lessen or cheapen the characters that are already there. You don't have to be a male character to be a great character. You can just be a great
mhm,
character just because you are a great character, and all of those characters could be that. So that's just my feeling on it.
mhm. I agree with
Um,
that.
were there any things that you did not like? Were you good with our Harlan Quinzel? Did you like that her being a doctor and then her doing those things before the Joker, or not even introducing the Joker, or not in the first part?
No, I think that was kind of one of my lower points of the series. She didn't really do a whole lot for me. That take on Harley, I thought it was fine with a slightly different take on the character. I just don't think it really worked for me. It just didn't really do a whole lot. Uh, and like I mentioned, when they kind of dipped more into like the supernatural element, I thought that kind of clashed with the rest of the tone of the show. It just felt really out of place.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, they could have done like a different character and just kind of had that consistent vibe that was that kind of reigned over the show the rest of the time. I was like, what were they even doing with those episodes?
It's
I
almost like
think
they didn't
that
have a storyboard there all of a sudden where they're trying to change something at the end. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you changing these things? There's no
mhm,
reason.
yeah, that I could have done without.
Yeah. I 100% agree
Mhm.
with that.
Yeah, I think those were my top two.
Were there any characters that you think that weren't good?
Um, I think I was kind of the character of Harleen Quinzel when she was doing her Harley thing. I have to circle back to her. She didn't really do a whole lot for me. Uh, the character of Montoya kind of she was I like her as a character, but her character design didn't do a whole lot for. I didn't really like her character design versus some of the others. You know what she kind of looked like to me, like versus some of the other characters. She
Who?
looked like one of like the old school Looney Tunes characters, with like in terms of like the big eyes and like just kind of the exaggerated lips and stuff like that. Versus some of the other characters, her character design just kind of felt out of place for me.
I understand that.
Like her as a character, the character design was super distracting to me
Okay. Okay.
though.
I feel like they underused Lucius.
Yep.
That was just total miss. I think what Tony says, I could see people feeling like the supernatural episodes felt like Scooby Doo. It felt
Hmm.
very Scooby Doo-ish,
Hmm.
like just out of place and didn't make sense for what we were trying to do. Like you went through all these episodes of doing one thing, and then you get these 2 episodes doing this on the right, and then coming back to it. So why were you doing that? There's no need
Hmm.
reason to introduce these unless they wanted to make it 10 episodes and just couldn't get there. So yeah, we'll just throw something in there. And I have to say the
Hmm.
Harlan Quinzel felt weird. Um, Not because of any other reason, but except like there was no reason for her to be mad or angry,
Hmm.
or she didn't have. There's a lot of people that had reason to be angry. She really didn't seem like she was one of them. They didn't have any
Hmm.
backstory where her like she was abused by her parents or abused by her boyfriend or anything like that. She was just doing stuff because she's tired of people complaining. And I thought that was a little
Yeah.
weird.
Hmm.
Because if you don't want to hear people talk about it, then you stop listening. Go do something else.
Hmm.